Three people in a Brazilian jail today. These three people are charged with modern-day cannibalism. To be specific, Brazilian police claim the trio killed at least 2 women and used their flesh to make stuffed empanadas. It's an unbelievable story. It really is unbelievable. Now, CNN international correspondent Shasta Darlington is following the story. Shasta joins us on the phone from Sao Paulo. Shasta, thank you for joining us. And what do we know about these three and what the heck is going on here?
Well, Gary, in a nutshell, they're accused of murder, kidnapping, and you said it, cannibalism. I know it's unbelievable, but the suspects are a 51-year-old man, his wife, and his much younger mistress. And according to police, they belong to a cult that wanted to purify the world and reduce the population. And they say they were following the instructions of these voices in their heads. So they basically lured young women to their house in northern Brazil by promising them a job as a nanny. And it was there that they killed them, chopped up their bodies, and I mean, this does get pretty gruesome. They even ate some of the flesh and the internal organs. Now, police say they've confessed to the crimes, and one of the suspects, Jorge Negromonte, even wrote a book basically telling the story of one of the murders and the cannibalism. It was called The Revelations of a Schizophrenic. Now, police were first alerted when the suspects tried to use a credit card belonging to a victim who disappeared last month. Not a very smart thing to do. And then when the police got to their house, they were living with a little 5-year-old girl who was able to take them to the backyard where they found the remains of 2 young women, Gary.
We meet a lot of crazy people on this job, Shasta. This certainly is the top of the list if these allegations are correct. One of the suspects telling police she made pastries and may have sold them. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right, Gary. That's what they've confessed to doing, and it's definitely the most disturbing part of this whole story. And Negromonte's wife was actually best known in that town for her little salgadinhos, as they're called in Portuguese, these little meat pies she sold to the neighbors. And during her deposition with the police, she told them that they used the flesh of their victims to stuff these meat pies. Then they sold them on the street. She sold them to local schools and even hospitals. And apparently during the deposition, she looked up at one of the policemen and she said, "Hey, I've even sold them to you." Can you just imagine what must be going through these people's heads in this little town, Gary?
And Shasta, a final question. Police are saying the number of victims may grow. Is that true?
Absolutely. As we mentioned, they found the remains of 2 women in the backyard. They believe that this little girl living with them is the daughter of another victim, and they say that by the time the investigation is over, they expect that they will have had more than 10 victims.
Shasta Darlington.